well, what's Halloween without a good ghost story?
Gotta
or
have one.
In this case, a good monster story, as in the Mogollon Monster, Arizona's very own Bigfoot.
Yeah, the Mogollon Rim is a steep cliff, basically, that runs for about 200 miles from northern Arizona eastward, nearing the border with New Mexico. It's a rugged wilderness that many creatures call home. And as Linda Williams reports tonight, one man says the Mogollon Monster is among them.
The Sasquatch has, for decades, served as a frontman for the peculiar field of cryptozoology. He's trudged his way enormous step by enormous step into popular folklore, with sightings of the beast surfacing with notable regularity. The creature has made his presence known in various wildly separated spots around the globe. The Yeti pops up among the Himalayas, the ever-popular Bigfoot emerges frequently in the Pacific Northwest, and Texas has reported numerous encounters with its aptly named Big Thicket Wildman. Yet few know that a member of this brotherhood of hairy hominids makes a home in Arizona. He is known as the Mogollon Monster. The reclusive creature is described as being at least 7 feet tall, hairless in the face, but otherwise covered with a long, thick coat of either dark or reddish-brown hair. He travels with a wide, inhuman stride, sometimes leaping footprints measuring 22 inches in length. Often, reports of the elusive beast involve a piercing, sometimes deafening scream or a howl unlike that produced by any known wildlife. Those who say they've crossed paths with the beast regularly describe an eerie silence prior to their encounter, an appreciable stillness in the woods that commonly surrounds predatory animals. Even more common are reports of a strong, very foul stench, which has been described as that of dead fish, a skunk with bad body odor, decaying peat moss, and by someone with an exceptionally keen sense of smell, apparently the musk of a snapping turtle. The range in which the monster was first sighted is known as the Mogollon Rim, and it is this location that had given the creature its new name, the Mogollon Monster. But the creature appears to travel and have been sighted around Prescott, Williams, Alpine, and Clifton, Arizona. The majority of the sightings occur in the ponderosa pine forests of the area. Sightings of the ape-man-like creatures are reported as going back to the early 1800s, when settlers of the area started having run-ins with the monster in the canyons and forests of the region. Local Native Americans within the region have also long told stories about big hairy men who live within the forests and canyons. It was near Payson where the creature was spotted by a cryptozoologist, Don Davis, whose run-in is generally accepted as the first known encounter with the Mogollon Monster. Davis said he witnessed the tall, hairy beast during a Boy Scout trip in the mid-1940s, when he was about 13 years old. As he and his fellow scouts were camping near Tonto Creek, something in the night woke him up while rummaging through the boys' belongings. When Davis called out to the noisemaker, who he thought to be a fellow scout, the figure approached him and stood over his sleeping bag. Davis later described what he saw. The creature was huge. Its eyes were deep-set and hard to see, but they seemed expressionless. His face seemed pretty much devoid of hair, but there seemed to be hair along the sides of his face. His chest, shoulders, and arms were massive, especially the upper arms, easily upwards of 6 inches in diameter, maybe much more. I could see he was pretty hairy, but didn't observe really how thick the body hair was. The face and head was very square sides and squared-up chin, like a box. Davis also reported being overwhelmed by the monster's incredible odor, although he believed at first he had simply messed his sleeping bag. An even earlier report has surfaced from a 1903 edition of the Arizona Republican. In it, a visitor to Arizona by the name of I.W. Stevens recounts his confrontation with what he referred to as the Wild Man of the Rocks. Though his encounter occurred further north, within the Grand Canyon, the story may be one of the earliest written records of such a sighting. Stevens described the wild man as having long white hair and a matted beard that reached down to his knees. When he approached for a closer look, Stevens saw that the creature wore no clothing, and upon his talon-like fingers were claws at least 2 inches long. He also noted that a coat of gray hair nearly covered his body, with here and there a spot of dirty skin showing. While this is not a traditional description of the beast we've come to know in recent years, we could perhaps infer that Stevens had run across an elderly Sasquatch, possibly suffering from a touch of mange.
There's all kinds of wildlife on the Mogollon Rim. As we watched, this young elk strolled calmly down a road near Woods Canyon Lake, with its mother nearby. But according to some, there is wildlife in these woods not so keen to be caught on camera.
They range from about this tall to about 8 feet.
Mitchell Waite is the chief monster chaser for MogollonMonster.com.
Well, I think they're the same species, but probably different races.
The Mogollon Monster is Arizona's Bigfoot. And according to Waite, the Mogollon Monster got his name in 1947 when a big, hairy beast raided a Boy Scout camp near Tonto Creek.
Stevens went on to tell how the canyon dweller threatened him with a large club and screamed the wildest, most unearthly screech he had ever heard. After, Stevens discovered the beast drinking the blood of 2 young cougars that he had just beaten to death. So what is this creature? A majority of people believe that the Mogollon Monster is a local Sasquatch. It appears to have all the commonly described features and traits of other reported ape men in North America. But other people don't appear to agree with that belief. Scientists claim that it's not possible for a large hominid to remain hidden in this area of the country. They believe a majority of the sightings are a result of hoaxes carried out by other individuals or simple misidentification. The species that are to blame for misidentification most of the time are mountain lions, coyotes, bighorn sheep, mule deer, and elk. Others point out that up until the late 1930s, grizzly bears used to frequent the forests of Arizona. Could this be what witnesses are seeing? A large grizzly standing on 2 legs? Have a small population of grizzlies returned to Arizona? It certainly wouldn't be expected to come across a large grizzly bear while hiking a canyon. The shock alone of turning the corner and seeing this large hairy animal would cause anyone to instantly turn and run for their lives. A quick encounter could lead anyone to believe or muddle up the memory of the day, and because of that, the out-of-place animal has now become a monster.
Because it happened on the Mogollon Rim, the Boy Scouts called it the Mogollon Monster. And that's kind of what stuck, you know.
Waite, whose family settled northern Arizona, first heard about the monster around the campfire.
You know, they were all about the hairy man or the wild man or something like that. And of course, I didn't believe them. We took all these campfire stories and we published them into a book called The Mogollon Monster, Arizona's Bigfoot. And they were just that, campfire stories. No proof, you know, just stories.
Another tale regularly told secondhand at Boy Scout summer camps involved an Arizona pioneer named Bill Spade. Spade supposedly built a log cabin on land adjacent to what is now Camp Geronimo, a scout facility. Spade was attacked one night by the monster, who left no trace of his victim save for Spade's face, which was torn off and left hanging from a tree. The cabin remained for decades afterwards, and the Mogollon Monster could often be spotted loitering nearby, waiting for a new inhabitant to deface. Other stories making the rounds attempt to explain the origins of the Mogollon Monster. They vary in detail, but for the most part implicate a tormented Indian bent on revenge. One variant tells of a prehistoric tribe who, for untold reasons, exiled their own chief. The chief called upon the spirits and was transformed into a hirsute boogeyman, which enabled him to scare away his former clan. He lives on today, continuing to defend his territory. In other versions, it was the tribe's medicine man who performed the transformation, enabling the chief to seek revenge on a rival who had stolen his wife. Further variations identify the Mogollon Monster as a pioneer who was the victim of an Indian attack. He escaped into the woods but was cursed by the spirits and went insane. In a strange amalgamation of stories, the monster is the phantom of a white man who, as punishment for murdering an Indian woman, was hung from a tree by his hands, stretched to a height of 8 feet, then skinned alive and left to die. Damned by the spirits, his ghost continues to roam the woods as the tragically misnamed Skinwalker. More modern incarnations of the Mogollon Monster story include a novel and a low-budget movie, both of which put the legendary beast at the center of a series of deaths and disappearances. Dolan Ellis, Arizona's official state balladeer, portrays the monster in a song as a somewhat environmentally conscious being that only eats children who litter. In comparison with his kin, however, the Mogollon Monster enjoys scant notoriety. In truth, he's regarded by most as little more than a campfire story. Sightings of the creature are not as prevalent as the reports of its Pacific Northwest cousin, but they do continue to happen.
Wade started receiving reports of Bigfoot sightings and started to investigate for himself. His first sighting was 7 years ago while driving up on the rim.
I just happened to be catch something out of my corner of my eye, and I turned and looked, and this thing stood up out of a small cave. And my first thought was, it looked like Cousin It on the Addams Family, you know. But by the time I got it backed up, it had already covered probably 30 yards and disappeared into the bushes.
Wade showed us photos of the Mogollon Monster he and his team have captured.
Cal, look at
And this
that.
video from inside a cave made of sticks and pine needles.
Look at
This, says Wade, is a small baby Bigfoot trying to hide in the corner from his night vision camera.
In 2014, a 28-year-old woman was hiking through the Canyon Point Trail when she came across an extremely odd-looking creature on its knees drinking water. Curious as to what the creature was, she decided to try and take a photo of it. When she reached into her bag to grab her camera, the creature quickly turned its head in her direction and stared directly at her. Now, extremely frightened by the large unknown creature staring directly at her, she began to try and scare the creature off. She started waving her arms and yelling as loud as she could. The creature then stood up onto its two legs and took off running into the canyon. The woman described the creature as having a human-looking face with no hair on it. Thick nose, small lips, brown red eyes, and a body covered in hair. The rumors around the Mogollon Monster's existence are far from rock solid at this point, though the creature is a fixture in campfire stories and even has a 100-mile endurance race named after it. Whether Arizona has an unknown upright walking hairy ape or not, Arizonians will still cast a watchful eye into the canyons and flats, looking for any sign of their very own cryptid, the Mogollon Monster.
Wade has mapped Mogollon Monster sightings from across the state. There are many, but most are up on the rim, and he's had his own sightings.
Probably well over a dozen times now. Yeah. Basically, we try to tweak their interest to come to us.
It seems Bigfoot has a big sweet tooth.
Cookies or baked goods, anything sweet. They really like sweets.
Footprint castings represent the traditional Bigfoot proof of life. Wade has plenty of those too, along with plenty of doubters.
But of course, there's lots of skeptics that just won't accept it.
But also plenty of believers who have a new way to track down an old legend, the Mogollon Monster.
Now with modern social media and so forth, it's becoming more and more acceptable for people to share what they've seen and what they've heard, and even videos or photos. Now believe me, there's a lot of hoaxers out there, you know, but there are a few reputable people that are searching for the truth.
And that is why I don't camp. Right there.
Boy, that is a moment of honesty.
There
I
will
love
not
that.
be any camping. I
No.
won't be in a tent in northern Arizona. I'll
The
stay at a
Mogollon
hotel.
Monster is, that's
You
a
never
deterrent.
know.
Yeah.
If you would like to take a look at more photos of the Mogollon Monster, just go to fox10phoenix.com. We've got a link there. And we also have more from Mitchell Waite on how to search for the Mogollon Monster. It's on our YouTube page, youtube.com/fox10phoenix. Waite would not give us the exact locations of his sightings of the monster, fearing to inform those who would only want to hunt or kill Bigfoot.
If you enjoy what you hear, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Unknown Territory, your home for everything Join us next Tuesday and Friday for more The Unknown.